The plane began to descend rapidly. The passengers screamed as oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. Lekan, you must be fortified. Burying Delilah alone is not enough. Muscles and skin appearing, and in a moment, the skeleton transformed into an ugly woman. Her hair was wild. Olalekan was hurrying to finish his food because he had a 12 o'clock flight to catch. He wanted to travel to Agemo to visit his mother, who had been asking him to get a wife, especially as she wasn't getting any younger. He had asked his friend Kolawole to go with him so he could use the opportunity to show him a site where he had just secured a contract to supply building materials. After his encounter with Delilah 2 years ago, Olalekan had been very careful in his dealings with women. Just then, his phone beeped. It was his friend Kolawole. Before I continue this story, please consider subscribing to this channel and turning on your bell notification icon so that you will get notified about new videos. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are just stumbling upon this video for the very first time, you can click on the icon above or the description box below to see the link to other thrilling stories. Now, grab your popcorn as another intriguing story is about to start. Oh boy, where you dey? I dey go airport like this, Kola said. I beg, no vex. I dey enter road like this now. Olalekan replied as he quickly dragged a small travel bag and hurried away. It was 11:45 a.m. and Olalekan was still stuck in traffic. Kola kept calling, Lekan, the plane go soon go. Where you dey like this? Kola asked, his patience wearing out. Kola, the traffic is crazy. Let me get down and take a bike, Olalekan said. He quickly got out of the taxi and boarded a bike, hoping it would be faster. But on the way, the bike was stopped at the police checkpoint. Hey, stop there. This bike na stolen bike, one of the policemen said, pointing at the rider. Olalekan's heart sank. It was already 12 noon. He pleaded with the police, explaining that he had a flight to catch, but the police were not listening. After much talking and some bribery, Olalekan managed to get out of trouble. It was 12:15 p.m. by the time he finally hailed another cab. The cab driver sped to the airport as fast as he could. When he reached the airport, it was already too late. He rushed to the check-in counter but was told he can't go in as the aircraft was about to take off. Olalekan stood there, catching his breath, feeling a mix of frustration and disappointment. He had missed his flight. His phone rang again. It was Kola. Lekan, you don't miss Amo, Kola said. I know, Olalekan replied, sighing deeply. I'll figure out something. As Olalekan walked away from the counter, he couldn't help but think about his next steps. Olalekan stood at the airport, his mind racing with disappointment and frustration. He thought about booking another flight, but something inside him told him to wait. He decided to call his mom and explain what happened. Mommy, I missed my flight. The traffic was terrible and then there were these policemen and their troubles. Olalekan said, It's okay, mommy. Just stay safe. You can always meet me tomorrow or any other time, his mom replied kindly. Olalekan found a bench and sat down, trying to figure out his next move. Meanwhile, Kolawole was on the plane thinking about Olalekan. He felt bad that his friend had missed the flight. The plane soared high in the sky, cutting through the clouds smoothly. The passengers were relaxed, some reading books, others napping. Kolawole looked out of the window, watching the landscape below. Everything seemed peaceful, not until the plane approached Etiti Airport, where it would land. Suddenly, the plane began to shake. The passengers looked around, alarmed. The flight attendants tried to calm everyone down, but the turbulence grew worse. Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We are experiencing some unexpected turbulence, the pilot announced over the intercom. The plane shook violently and the passengers gripped their armrests tightly. Kolawole felt a strange chill run down his spine. He glanced at his watch. It was exactly 1 o'clock p.m. Just as the plane was about to descend for landing, it took a sharp turn. The pilot struggled to control it, but something seemed to be pulling the plane off course. Mayday! Mayday! We are losing control! The pilot's voice crackled over the intercom, filled with panic. The plane began to descend rapidly. The passengers screamed as oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. Kolawole's heart pounded. He closed his eyes and prayed for a miracle. The plane crashed into the forest right at the site where Delilah was buried. The impact was tremendous and the sound echoed through the trees. Fire erupted from the wreckage and smoke billowed into the air. The forest where the crash had occurred was close to the airport and also near the village of Agemo. Within a short time, a rescue team arrived, trying to save the victims quickly before any explosion could happen. The smell of burning fuel filled the air as they hurriedly pulled out survivors. Kolawole, dazed and injured, found himself trapped under the wreckage. His vision blurred and he could barely make out the frantic movement of the rescuers. Panic gripped him as he struggled to stay conscious. "Over here! There is someone here!" the rescuer shouted, pointing towards Kolawole. Several men rushed over, working together to lift the debris off him. Just as they managed to free him, a loud explosion erupted. The aircraft burst into flames, the fire spreading rapidly. The heat was intense, and the roar of the fire was deafening. "Get them out, now!" the lead rescuer yelled. Kolawole was dragged away from the wreckage, coughing and gasping for air. His body ached all over and he felt a sharp pain in his leg, but he was alive. The scene couldn't be seen for many others who had been on the plane. Olalekan, still at the airport, felt a sudden shiver. He checked his phone for news and saw the horrifying headlines about the crash. His heart sank. The flight he had missed had just crashed near Agemo. He ran to the check-in point and realized everyone was talking about the crash. On confirming the news of the crash, Olalekan rushed out of the airport. Hours later, he was in a bus heading to Agemo. His heart raced with fear as he didn't know the state of his friend, Kolawole. He felt terrible because he had been the one who invited Kolawole to Agemo. He prayed all through the journey, hoping that Kolawole was fine. The forest was quiet with smoke still rising from the crash site. As the smoke swirled around, amidst the wreckage, a human skeleton started to move. Bones cracked and rattled as the skeleton slowly stood up, each bone clicking into place. The skeleton's hollow eye sockets glowed with a magical light. It took a few shaky steps, moving awkwardly, and then it began to change. Flesh started to grow over the bones, muscles and skin appearing, and in a moment, the skeleton transformed into an ugly woman. Her hair was wild and matted. Her face twisted into a cruel smile. She looked at her reflection in a piece of shattered glass and laughed, a chilling, eerie sound that echoed through the silent forest. This body doesn't look so good," she said, her voice raspy and filled with malice. "But I can manage." She turned her head as if sensing something. "Olalekan, I am coming for you. You better be ready for me." On getting to Agemo, Olalekan rushed to the only general hospital. His heart was pounding with worry. He didn't know what to expect, but he had to find Kolawole. As soon as he entered the hospital, he went straight to the counter. Excuse me please," he said to the nurse on duty. "I'm looking for one Kolawole additional. He was involved in the crash. Is he here?" The nurse looked tired and stressed. She shook her head. "I can't say for sure," she said. "There were many people brought in from the crash, and we haven't sorted out all their names yet. No one is allowed to see them today. You should come back tomorrow." Frustrated, Olalekan sighed. He thanked the nurse and left the hospital. He felt helpless and worried about his friend, but he knew he needed to be patient, and so he headed to his mom's house. When Olalekan reached his mom's house, she was waiting outside. She hugged him tightly as soon as she saw him. "Oh, Mommy, I was so worried about you," she said, her voice trembling. "I heard about the crash. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Mommy," Olalekan said, trying to sound calm, "but I'm worried about my friend Kolawole. I don't know if he's okay." His mom led him inside and made him sit down. She brought him some water and a bowl of hot soup. Eat something and rest, she said gently. You will go back to the hospital tomorrow and see if you can find your friend Kolawole. Olalekan nodded, feeling a bit better with his mom's comforting presence. As he ate, he told her about everything that had happened to him, the encounter with Delilah, the accident, Baba Ijebu's warnings, the necklace. His mom listened carefully, her face growing serious. Ha! Me. So all these things happened to you, and you didn't even bother to tell me your own mother, his mom exclaimed, looking hurt. I'm so sorry, Yami. I didn't want you to get worried, Olalekan intoned. But you came to the village to meet a seer and not even your own mother, she said, looking really sad. Olalekan bowed his head in shame. I'm so sorry, yeah. Delilah is very evil. I didn't want you to get entangled with my mess. Everyone who got involved had died. It seems I'm the only one alive. His mom cut him short. Look, Lekan, these spirits don't just go away like that. They always find a way to come back on mommy, especially one on a mission of revenge. Lekan, you must be fortified. Burying Delilah alone is not enough. You will not go to that hospital tomorrow. Please, mommy, Kola will be fine if he's alive. You need to protect yourself first. But Baba Ijebu said he had buried her with a necklace and his mom cut him short again. Vengeful spirits always come back. If you don't do this, you will have to watch your back all your life. Now, get some rest, mommy. First thing tomorrow morning, I will take you somewhere. Olalekan nodded, feeling a bit better. He knew his mom was right. He needed to be strong and ready for whatever came next. Olalekan found himself at the crash site, calling out for his friend Kola. Suddenly, he heard strange noises. When he turned around, he saw a skeleton walking towards him with glowing eyes. Did you miss me? Olalekan screamed and jolted up from sleep. Another dream. He was panting heavily when his mother rushed to his side. What is it, mommy? She asked. She's back, mommy, Olalekan said, trembling. Who is she? Who is back? His mother asked, confused. I'm not sure, mommy, but it seems Delilah is back. But you said that Baba Ijebu buried her, his mother asked, worried. Yes, mommy, I don't know, but anytime she's around, I have these nightmares. At the break of dawn, Iya woke Olalekan up. Leka, it's time, she said softly. Olalekan rubbed his eyes. Mommy, let me freshen up first. Iya smiled gently. Leka, there is no time for that. We need to go now. Before they left, Iya gave him some bitter cola to chew. Leka, don't talk to anyone. Don't even greet anybody. Just make sure you hold on to my hand and never let go until we get to our destination. Olalekan nodded in understanding as they set out for the unknown. The village was quiet and the early morning mist made everything look mysterious and eerie. Olalekan held tightly to his mother's hand, his heart pounding with fear and anticipation. They walked through narrow paths and over small bridges, deeper into the village than Olalekan had ever been before. The journey felt long and strange. Every sound seemed louder, every shadow more menacing. But Olalekan trusted his mother and kept going, gripping her hand tightly. Finally, they reached a small house just at the entrance of Iluowo village. As Ian knocked, an old man with long white braids, wearing a white gown, opened the door. He asked them to come in. His house was clean and decent. Olalekan had expected to meet another Baba Ijebu in a hut, but was surprised. As they sat down, the old man introduced himself as Baba Ife. He began telling them about his encounter with a vengeful spirit years ago. He told them how the spirit had eliminated his family until he found a way to defeat it. Olalekan was curious. How were you able to defeat it? Baba Ife smiled and continued. First, you must be clean. You must stay away from all forms of immorality, especially sexual immorality. You must hold on tightly to your God or whatever you serve. You can't keep visiting spiritualists and expect her to go away. She will always find a way to come back. Lastly, you must fortify yourself. Burn incense in your house at all times. Olalekan was surprised. He had expected it to be more difficult. But what if she comes in a different form? Olalekan asked. Baba Ife laughed. She will always come back. You can't kill a spirit. She will come in different forms. Seduction, greed, jealousy, Just don't fall for it. Once you do, she will materialize into human form. She feeds on your fear and your weakness. Then why do I see her in my dreams? Olalekan asked, confused. You see her because you think of her all the time. Baba Ife explained. Delilah is long gone. All the people she eliminated didn't know this. They fell for her charm, her beauty. If you can avoid these things, you will be safe. Just one mistake and she will destroy everything you hold dear. Just be careful. Olalekan listened carefully, his mind racing with confusion. Olalekan still wasn't satisfied. He knew what he had seen and experienced, but Baba Ife was saying it was just his imagination. She tried to eliminate me in the hospital, Baba. Was I hallucinating then? No, my son, Baba Ife replied. She possessed a human being. So, are you saying she can't possess another body now? Olalekan asked. Well, Baba Ife explained. Her body has been buried twice. She can only possess the body of the person who exhumed her. I saw her in my dream just last night, Olalekan insisted. And every time I do, it means she's back. I can feel it, Baba. Delilah is truly back. Baba Ife got up, went into his room and came out with a cup of water and a special knife. She keeps coming for you because all you do is try to get rid of her, but you don't fortify yourself. Drink this water now. Olalekan quickly took the cup from Baba and drank the water. Now, take this knife. Baba Ife continued. She won't be able to harm you so long as you have taken this water, but she will keep trying. She will not stop. If she ever gets close to you, stab her. Make sure to aim for the heart. She will fight you with everything, but you have to be strong. Don't let her elude you until she turns into dust. Then gather the dust and bring them to me. I repeat, don't let her run away from you. If she manages to escape without turning into dust, then she will find another body and return. Olalekan, now satisfied, thanked Baba Ife. This time, he looked and felt confident as he and his mother left Baba Ife's place. On getting home, Olalekan quickly freshened up and headed to the hospital. He was determined to find out about Kolawole and make sure he was safe. As he walked into the hospital, he went straight to the counter and asked the nurse, "Good day, ma'am. I'm looking for one Mr. Kolawole Additional. He was involved in the plane crash. Please, is he here?" The nurse checked her list and nodded. "Yes, he's alive and he's here. Check the men's ward." Olalekan felt a rush of relief. He thanked her and hurried to the men's ward. There, he saw Kolawole lying on the bed, bandaged but awake. "Kolawole," Olalekan called out, rushing to his side. Kolawole smiled weakly. "Olalekan, you are here." "Yes, I am. Yes, I am," Lekan replied. "I'm so glad you're okay." Feeling relieved that his friend was alive, Olalekan rushed back home. He took his mother's bicycle and headed back to Baba Ife's house. "Papa, please, I want to end this once and for all. Can you help me summon Delilah? I need to get this done and over with," Olalekan said urgently. Baba Ife heaved. Delilah is a spirit. You can't find her, my son. She will find you. But I can give you something that will attract her to you. Mind you, this could be dangerous, as you will not only attract the spirit of Delilah, but other spirits may come along. "Papa, I am ready for anything. I have been through a lot because of this woman. It's either she destroys me or I destroy her. She can't keep taking lives because of me," Olalekan said firmly. "Very well then, come with me," Baba Ife said. He took Olalekan to a nearby bush and dug out a box. He opened the box and removed the black cloth. Wear this cloth whenever you want to be visited by spirits. This cloth will make you invincible to humans, but visible to spirits. Olalekan thanked Baba Ife. "You're a brave man, Lekan. May God protect you." Olalekan rode back home. He dropped the bicycle and went far away from the village, deep into the forest. Then he wore the cloth. In a loud voice he screamed, "Delilah, here I am! Stop the killing and take me. I'm all yours now." In that moment, Olalekan started hearing strange voices. He was scared but also determined. He looked around him and saw that he was surrounded by spirits, both good and evil. He stood his ground and said, "Oh, ye spirits, I come in peace. I am here for the evil woman who will not let me have peace. She has been taking lives away and still want to continue. Please, let me be. I have not come for you all. Hearing this, the spirits vanished one by one. Suddenly, an old woman carrying wood on her head walked by. On seeing her, Olalekan felt pity and wanted to help. Mama, please let me help you, he offered. The woman smiled. Thank you, my son, she said. Just as Olalekan was about to help her, he remembered Baba Ife's words. The cloth will make you invisible to humans, but visible to spirits. It then dawned on him that the old woman could be Delilah. He stepped backward, and immediately the old woman transformed into a more daunting being and started laughing eerily. Olalekan fell to the ground, never having seen such a creature. As he moved backward, the spirit followed him. Every time she tried to touch him, she ended up touching nothing. She kept laughing and trying. Sensing that she couldn't touch him, Olalekan immediately utilized the opportunity. He stopped running, stepped forward instead, and reached for her neck. He realized that he could touch her. Immediately, he took out the knife and stabbed her right in the heart. Delilah screamed like a banshee. She tried to wriggle away, but Olalekan was prepared. He pressed the knife deeper. Delilah kept screaming until she gradually turned into dust. Heaving a sigh of relief, Olalekan removed the black cloth and used it to pack Delilah's dust. Finally, he felt peace, knowing he had ended the terror once and for all. Olalekan went back to Baba Ife, exhausted but triumphant. He presented the black cloth containing Delilah's dust to Baba Ife, who nodded in approval. You have done very well, my son. You and your loved ones are now safe. Olalekan headed back home, embraced his mother tightly, tears of relief streaming down his face. It's over, Mama. Delilah is gone. His mother smiled and kissed his forehead. You are brave, mommy. You faced your fears and overcame them. The next morning, Olalekan visited the hospital again. This time, he found Kolawole sitting up in bed, looking much better. Kola, I'm so glad you're okay, Olalekan exclaimed. Thank you, my friend, Kolawole replied, smiling weakly. As they sat together, sharing stories and laughter, Olalekan reflected on the recent events. He realized how much he had grown and learned through the trials. Sometimes, what seems like a curse is actually a blessing in disguise, Olalekan said thoughtfully, and they both laughed. As life slowly returned to normal, Olalekan realized the importance of the lessons he had learned. He had faced his fears and stood up to a formidable enemy. He understood that true strength comes from within, and that facing challenges head-on with courage and determination can lead to triumph. If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more interesting stories of this sort, please consider subscribing to this channel, not forgetting to turn on the bell notification icon so that once a new video is being posted, you will be the first to be notified. You can also check out those videos here. I promise you won't be disappointed. Till we meet again in my next video, remain blessed.